Hello, hello. Welcome again to another episode of the All In podcast with Nate Peo. Of course, I'm your host, Nate Peo, and I'd like to welcome a past guest on the show, Joel Clelland. Joel's had a little bit of changes since we last spoke, but after 20 years of diverse career experience in various industries and capacities, he's now serving as Centric.com's Chief Executive Officer. Joel first discovered Centric as an independent investor exploring cryptocurrencies and searching for the most promising projects on the planet. The investor first experience introduces a unique perspective to the executive team. As CEO, he is responsible for driving the project toward protocol's consensus. His approach strongly emphasizes investor education and engagement, strategic partnerships, and market cap growth. Welcome to the show, Joel. How are you?
Great. Thanks, Nate. It's great to be back.
Yeah, a lot has changed. Probably been almost a year since you came on
Yeah,
first.
About a year, I think. Maybe a little less.
Yeah, and I don't think this was on the radar back then. So how did
not even
you
close.
roll into becoming the CEO of Centric.com? And let's talk a little bit about what Centric.com actually does. If you could walk through that story.
Sure. So we're a dual token cryptocurrency token system. So what does dual token mean? That means we have two tokens in our system. Our native token is Centric Rise, and we have Centric Cash that's available on the exchanges.
Okay. And what's like the difference between that and like a Bitcoin or a Dogecoin or anything that's out there? Is this all the same or are these all different?
Well, that's a great question, Nate. There's probably over 4,000 projects globally, and there are new projects being developed all the time. Token versus coin, there's a whole conversation wrapped up in that. But basically, most tokens either serve a purpose as a currency or as a utility. And like you brought up Dogecoin, a lot of these tokens that are out there are perceived to be investment options for people where they're looking to make money. So they get in and they hope that their bags, so to speak, their bags of tokens go up in price, and so they could sell at a profit. At Centric, we're really kind of a long gamer. The two main types of tokens in the space or coins in the space are traditional cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Ethereum, Dogecoin, things like that, and then stable coins like Tether or USDC. And so what we did is we developed a synthetic stable. So our synthetic stable coin is Centric Rise, which means we're taking out the volatility, but still offering hourly yields, which is kind of unique. And that's actually what drew me to the project. I thought, wow, this is great. So if I buy this token, it gives me hourly growth, and I can spend it as a currency. That sounds pretty cool.
So how did you go from being an investor to actually being the CEO of the company?
That's a great question.
Kind of an interesting journey. That doesn't happen.
No, it's pretty unique on its own. I got in as an investor sometime during the pandemic last year. And a friend of mine who is associated with the project as an investor as well, he'd been telling me about Centric for like a couple of years. And I was like, no, it's not for me. What is that, crypto? What are you doing? and finally, after a number of conversations, I finally just said, you know what the heck, let's invest in Centric, see where it goes. And I started investing, and I started connecting with the Centric team through my friend. And initially, I thought I was just going to be helping Centric with like nonprofit type of work, because that's really my background. But the conversations shifted in the early part of this year to the business. And at one point they just said, "Well, what would you think about taking over the company?" And I kind of leaned in, I'm like, "What? What are we talking about here?"
Yeah.
So they like my background
behind like realizing like that you were set up to be the successful CEO of this company.
I think so. Well, our team is amazing. I mean, we have so many impressive people on the team already. We just brought on my COO, Tommy Butcher, a couple weeks back. He's amazing. His pedigree is very, very strong in the space. And initially, the team really wanted me to be on as the educator, as the evangelist, if you will, for Centric. And as we kind of go into this next chapter where we're working toward adoption, it's a very exciting time.
Well, let's talk about that. What is the next chapter?
Right. So we kind of break up our roadmap into phases, and we're in the adoption phase right now where we're educating people on what Centric is. I think there's a greater conversation with the world about what cryptocurrency is and how it can be a part of our financial lives now and for the future. We're making a lot of connections in the business world. Our merchant services is called SendPay or Centric Business. And this is going to be a way for us to kind of have like a POS, like payment systems. There are already a few companies out there offering what we call like a cryptocurrency payment gateway or payment situation service, and where you're basically taking your traditional businesses or e-commerce and connecting with cryptocurrency. And so we're making some of those relationships, and then also just like going right to businesses and saying, do you accept crypto? Are you interested?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What do you think about having Centric be one of the cryptos you accept?
That's an interesting thing because, I think a lot of people aren't quite sure what cryptocurrency is and what blockchain is. And crypto uses blockchain, but blockchain isn't necessarily limited to crypto, but people combine those two. And then there's also like an idea that the crypto, like if you get a message from somebody on LinkedIn through crypto, they're a crypto trader or something like that, you're like, okay, I know this is going. It's going to be this like conversation that revolves. It like always ends into that they were broke and on their last leg, and they were going to not have a chance. And then they found crypto, and they're wanting to see if you want to, earn a chance to make a bunch of money. And so people have this idea that maybe crypto is a bit of a scam, or it's something that's just way too complex and too techie, too fringe, too nerdy to figure out. So how do you start going out and about and start educating the masses of what cryptocurrency is, and maybe even more so what it is not?
Right. And that's a great question, Nate. I think I always like to start with not just dispelling the myths, but speaking to the truths. There's some facts in the market. 2017, 2018 those were not good years for crypto. There were a lot of scams. And, a lot of people are kind of, pressing the brake right now with regard to crypto because of some of those experiences that people had, individual investors. I won't paint the whole space that way because every project is different. Every focus is different. But at the end of the day, I think the education is definitely well overdue because, like you said, there's a lot of people that, they speak way up here when it comes to crypto. And I think having a lay person or a lay person's like approach to teaching the education, like I did at the outset, where I was just explaining between the two types of tokens, what we're trying to do, that this is just going to be a way for you to pay, just like you would use your credit card or your bank card. You can use your phone and QR codes to do the same thing. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, it's potentially faster, safer, and will be cheaper. So people like to save money, you know what I mean? And at the end of the day, that's what I promote is how can we save money, keep things safe and secure, and get people what they want.
Well, that's what I'd ask. A lot of people listening probably don't have any idea what cryptocurrency is. Maybe you can give that layman's term of what is cryptocurrency, how is it created, and how does it have value, how is it safe? Right. These are probably the frequently asked questions for somebody that's like, I've heard of it, I don't know what it is.
Right, exactly. I was in a room with a bunch of people, actually twice in the last 2 weeks, and these were highly educated business type people. And I dropped, who knows about Bitcoin? Almost all the hands had heard about Bitcoin. But then I asked who's heard of Ethereum, and like less than half of the hands went up. And Ethereum is the number 2 project in the space. And so I thought that was fascinating. You brought up blockchain earlier, and blockchain is the technology behind crypto, but crypto is the currency of the blockchain. That's what that's how I always like to kind of sum it up, is like the currency that's spent on the blockchain is crypto. And just kind of getting our minds wrapped around that the technology and the currency coexist. Like one doesn't exist without the other.
Right.
And so this is just another way for people to do money. And are there elements of the wild, wild west? Better believe it, man. There's a lot of crazy stuff happening in the space. But like, if you think about it, I mean, Bitcoin's what, 12 years old almost, about, and the space is still very young. And so there's a lot of breakthroughs I think are going to happen in cryptocurrency and in blockchain. And blockchain's older than crypto, but not by much. And I think it's going to look a lot like the adoption of the automobile or the adoption of the internet. I think what's going to happen is just like sometime, I don't know when it's going to be, in the next 2 to 5 years, probably, the whole world's going to wake up and say, wow, is this what you guys have been talking about? Yeah, it's what we've been talking about. I mean, countries are already getting in the game, Nate. So they're coming out with their central bank digital currencies, or CBDCs. And these are basically crypto fiat. And so I always like to separate the two out, because if it's fiat and it's backed by the government, it's not true crypto, because true crypto is like a private network-based currency. And will CBDCs be borderless like crypto is? You know, because if I have my Bitcoin, I could spend it anywhere in the world. It's borderless. Same thing with Centric. And so kind of having that kind of in the back of our minds is, I was talking with this lady the other day, and she said, wow, I just did some traveling in Europe. I had to exchange money here and here and here, and I had all these fees and expenses and losses. With crypto, I wouldn't have had any of that.
Now, one of the things I've heard is your cryptocurrency is stored on a hard drive somewhere.
Can be.
Probably your own hard drive. And then the opportunity to lose access to that hard drive, say you misplace it or get stolen or something like that, it's like, it's all gone. Like, you can't get back to it. So how, like, what's the truth in that? Like, how is protecting your cryptocurrency from it just being inaccessible? How do you prevent that?
So personal responsibility is huge in the space. Two things: don't do crypto when you're drunk, and don't do crypto when you're tired. So late at night, you shouldn't be doing your transactions, or if you've had a few too many, you shouldn't be doing your transactions at that time either. And so you got to be present when you're doing any transactions that are non-merchant transactions. So as crypto gets more adoption in the merchant services side, it's going to be super easy. I mean, you're going to be using your phone and QR codes. It's going to be blink, 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 you're done. But if you're transferring crypto from one wallet to another, one person to another, person to a company, company to company, there's a lot of personal responsibility around that, because you've basically become your own bank. See, for hundreds of years, we've trusted the banks to kind of be our middleman in the money space. What crypto does is it removes the banks. So you become the person who's in charge and has the responsibility. And because of that, you have to know, hey, if I'm sending it to this address, I got to be careful. Like if I'm sending Centric to a Tether address, it's going to be gone in the ether. I didn't send it Centric to Centric. You follow me?
Yeah.
Or if I try to send Tether to a Bitcoin address, it's gone. And so knowing where we're sending crypto is huge. Don't work with your crypto when you've had too many to drink or you're really tired. So the personal responsibility piece is huge. To speak to the hard drive versus software wallets versus paper wallets, all of that, there's different ways to store it. But again, it comes down to personal responsibility, having your own personal ledger and a documentation of everything that you have and where it is. To truly be completely 100% secure, it should probably be on a laptop that never accesses the internet. You've downloaded your crypto to that laptop, and it's in your care, along with all the private keys and login credentials. So at the end of the day, it's probably the way it was way back when, before computers, like during the gold rush. You know, the gold rush of the 1850s or whatever in the United States was crazy time, 1850s, 1860s or whatever. You staked your claim. It was real easy for someone to knock you over the head with a shovel and take your claim, right? You know,
Yeah.
or on your way to the bank to shore up your findings, you had some issues or whatever. But it's very much like that. There's an element of the wild, wild west, but the nice thing is that there's enough people in the space that are sensible, and there's a lot of faces I'm starting to see from traditional finance that are coming into the space. Mass Mutual purchased $100 million of Bitcoin before Christmas. I don't know if you saw that. So they're holding Bitcoin on their balance sheet. That's a conservative insurance company. JP Morgan Chase has been talking about it. They're talking about being a custodian for their customers to hold digital assets. And there's actually a couple of banks that are already holding digital assets for their customers. So for people that still are huge fans of the bank, and I'm kind of indifferent to the banks. I use banks because they help me pay my bills and they receive paychecks for me. Yeah. But that's about all that I really need for banks. At some point, utilities will even be accepting crypto. So I'll just pay the utilities directly. I don't have to go through the bank.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just another way to do money. That's how I look at it.
Okay. Now, if somebody's out there and they've heard a lot about crypto, they're curious about it, they're looking to get started, like where should they begin? What type of education should they take on before they leap into it? And is this something you want to diversify into multiple tokens, or do you just want to like put your go all in on just one only and pick a winner?
Right. Well, one thing I always have to preface and throw a disclaimer out that everything I say is for education and entertainment purposes. So I'm not giving investment or financial advice, but one of the things that we suggest is that you get educated. When I first started investing in crypto, I got a hold of, I think it's called Crypto Revolution. It's Bryce Paul and his partner Pizza's book, Bryce Paul's book. I think it's called Crypto Revolution or something like that. It's a real simple read. I say it's a good bathroom book, and I don't get anything from plugging that book. But if you look up Bryce Paul, Crypto Revolution, you'll find the book. It's pretty good. And the nice thing is it's accessible for anybody, whether you're very young or you're retired. It's an easy read. And what it does is it kind of goes step by step by what's happening in the space and how to get into crypto. Coinbase had their IPO last week. I don't know if you saw that.
Mm-mm. No,
yeah, Coinbase, huge. I think they hit almost $90 billion market cap in one day. It's pretty crazy. Wow. And so they're the first a major exchange in the US to go public with an IPO on NASDAQ. And I like Coinbase. I'm not promoting Coinbase. I can't as a CEO of a crypto company, but I'm on a lot of exchanges personally as an investor. And Coinbase is one of the better ones because it's easy to get on if you just want to kind of learn. And you can move some of your bank money in there and just kind of play with it. We're not asking, I never promote people, spending their mortgage money on crypto or their grocery bill on crypto or anything like that. You're looking in the $5 to $10 to $20 space to kind of get in and kind of start learning about the different tokens. But Coinbase is a great place to do that. You get some news, plus each of the tokens that's available through Coinbase, and understand not everything's available through Coinbase. They normally have like a little abstract where it can tell you a little bit about it, whether Coinbase thinks it's a buy or a sell, that kind of thing. And then there's other exchanges that are out there for people who want to look at diversifying outside of Coinbase. But for me, I hold a few projects, and I've held and divested myself of some. But there's a lot of good projects that are out in the market. I think it's still an emerging market. It's a new asset class. And so for people that have like traditional planning in place, I come from the life insurance world, life insurance, IRAs, mutual funds, things like that. This could be another potential asset class for someone to look at. I had a gentleman up in Vegas, and he's got to be in his mid 70s. So he's not your traditional crypto investor. But he calls me on the phone. I got my number from somebody and calls me on the phone. I took the call. I said, "Hey, what's up?" And he said, "I got your number from so-and-so. Can we talk?" I said, "Sure." And it turns out he's independently wealthy. He's got quite a few real estate holdings. And he was saying, "Hey, do you think I should take Ethereum from my tenants instead of cash?" And I said, "Well, do you want to take Ethereum?" I asked him the question. He said, "Well, maybe. I saw this video about it." I said, "Well, it's up to you." I said, do you need the money?" "No, all my real estate's paid for." I said, "Oh, okay." So, well, if you're holding it as an investment and you don't need the money for your expenses, that's something to consider. But because the space is emerging and it's gaining in popularity, and Ethereum's like I said, the number 2 in the space. I said, yeah, I hold some Ethereum. I just told him right that over the phone. I've got Ethereum. I've owned it. I've sold it. I've held it again. I'm still holding Ethereum. So I like the space a lot, but it's, not everybody is ready to get into it. And for me, I'm like, it's not about pressure. It's about education. It's about how can you use it. I had a friend who bought his last drone with Bitcoin. So I mean, it works. I mean, I've bought and purchased items using crypto, and it's emerging and it's here to stay. It's not going anywhere. And if anything, growing as a space, as an asset class, and even the governments are getting into the mix with the CBDCs, like I was saying earlier.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting market, and I've seen it too myself. Like pull up more. Like I had a Shopify website, and they're like, "Do you want to accept American Express? Do you want to accept your typical stuff?" And then like, "Hey, what about Bitcoin?" It's like, I guess it doesn't cost me anything to check the box. Nobody ever paid with anybody,
Right.
but it was interesting. So this is great advice for people looking to get started. So usually I ask people towards the end of the show, like, what does it mean for you to be all in on an idea or an outcome? Maybe going all in on cryptocurrencies isn't the right advice, but what does that word mean to you? What does it mean to be all in? I mean, you've kind of gone all in with your career to become a CEO.
I have. Look at that. So it's interesting, Nate, because you and I are both into fitness and development. I mean, we're always trying to be better. I know that about you. And for me, I wouldn't be where I am today if it hadn't been about always improving myself, continuous improvement, CI, right? Continuous improvement. So at the end of the day, health is an asset, and so is money. And so I since my early days in finance, I've been in finance about 15 years now, mostly on the traditional side, is the education is huge. Invest in your education, and especially invest in your money education. Go all in on money education, because there's things you don't know. I know there are things that I don't know. That's why I'm constantly learning, and you should too.
I agree with that. There's so much to be said about investing in your experience, which is also your education, right? And your network. Those are two things I think that you can't never go wrong in, and they take time to develop. They don't happen overnight, but they stick with you. They're the things that you don't leave behind when you change jobs, change careers, change industries. That all goes with you. So I think those two are really important things to stay invested in. And the more you know about something, the better decisions you can make. So,
100%.
gosh, well, it's really cool to hear you talk about your transition, where you're going. So let's talk a little bit about who are those people right now you're looking to get connected to, looking to get your message of education in front of.
For sure. So obviously the markets right now that are the most engaged in crypto are the 20s to 40s age group, and especially male. It's just funny. The statistic is over 80% of the market is male dominated. And so maybe that's because we need to educate the female market. I don't know. But I think at the end of the day, just kind of getting the word out that Centric is here. We're on the map. We're growing. We're on CoinMarketCap. We're on CoinGecko. You can find us. We're not hard to find. At Centric.com, you can see where you can get CNS, which is Centric Cash, and then bring it into the ecosystem to get your Centric Rise, which is what you want. And just kind of getting the word out to people that are already invested in crypto. Because if you're already invested in crypto, you already are comfortable with it. So you would want to take a look at what we're doing at Centric.
Okay, awesome stuff. So where can people go if they want to get connected to you, Joel?
Sure. So I'm pretty active on Twitter at Real Clelland. On Twitter, Centric.com is a great way to get together with me and the team. And I'm on Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn. So feel free to connect across social media. I don't get back to people fast all the time, but I do get back.
All those people you're talking about, aren't they on TikTok? Where's your TikTok?
I know. I have a TikTok channel. I do. I just haven't done a TikTok in a while.
I just never know what to do with the TikTok.
I know.
I had a guy come on. We were doing a Clubhouse, and the guy was talking about making TikToks and using it for business. And I was like, he's just like, yeah, just go to Ask Socrates. Never heard of this website before. You Google whatever it is you're talking about. So like, if this is your TikTok, you'd be like, hey, what are the frequently asked questions around cryptocurrency, right?
That'd be great.
And now Socrates is going to tell you, what are people really trending on? And so they'll give you like 5 results. Like, hey, they want to know about this, they want to know about that. And then you go, all right, I'm going to do a TikTok, a 60-second quick explanation to answer this question. And because it's trending, and you do this every single day, you do 5 a week, 7 a week, or maybe, 2 a day, whatever you can consistently do, you do these instead of doing like the trends and the dances and trying to figure out, because we just, we look foolish doing that stuff. You're answering these questions, and then the people that want to know these answers, they eventually find you, and they're like, oh, this is really good because I want to hear this answer very quickly, concisely. I don't want to do a bunch of research for them. Start becoming as a thought leader. So this is something that I'm kicking around the back of my head of like, I want to add this to my repertoire of social media. Have I found the time to do it yet? Not yet, but it's in the works. And I think this is something that, with a little practice, you could bang them out in an hour on Sunday, have them all queued up to go Monday through Friday. And,
I like it.
Awesome stuff. Well, it's great catching back up with you, Joel. And all those links they're listed in the show notes. If you have any questions around cryptocurrency, I encourage you to reach out to Joel, tell him hello, and tell him you heard about him first on the All In podcast with Nate Pale. So thank you for coming on. It's good seeing you again. And maybe next year we'll find out just how far Centric has gone. Yeah, it's going to be fun. Thanks, Nate.